So when you buy a sawmill, one thing they don't tell you is about all the other tools that you have to buy with a sawmill. Sure, you have your sawmill, and that'll cut the lumber. I've just got done cutting a bunch of cherry here. But the other tools that you have to buy are, well, gas cans, for one. You have to buy, in Iowa, I have to buy windshield washer fluid for the wintertime. You have to buy a torque wrench. I already had a torque wrench, but you need a torque wrench. I have this metal detector here so that I can kind of detect metal. I like this one because it only goes 4 or 5 inches deep. So, I'm not picking up my steel track on my sawmill when I use my metal detector down to 4 or 5 inches. So I can still tell if there's a nail down there. Then you have these pliers here, which are good for pulling out nails and screws that you find in them. Cat's paw, hammer. Then you get to a high lift jack. If you're like me and your mill is not hydraulic, the high lift jack here works really good for turning logs. Obviously, it's a little dangerous, so be careful with it. But for the big logs, this cherry log here that I just got done cutting was like 30 inches in diameter. So I couldn't turn it with the cant hook. Speaking of the cant hook, you got to have a cant hook. You have to be able to turn these logs if you don't have hydraulics on your sawmill. The other thing is I have this big bar here. It's a grizzly bar. It's made by Klein Tools. But it's a giant bar, and that's really good for moving these logs around. Another thing that I have are these little pipe clamps, or these little beam clamps that iron workers use and plumbers and stuff use. Those, if you set them on the saw track, like so, obviously I open them up a little bit. Now that is a adjustable dog. You see, I have dogs over here that are welded on, but sometimes you don't have straight logs. So you can put those adjustable dogs anywhere you want, and still they're low enough that they can't be cut by the saw because they're less than 1 inch tall. Then you have to have a grease gun. Everybody has to have a grease gun for these machines. They all need maintenance. And then you have to have some kind of a chainsaw. Whether or not you're using it for milling, you have to have a chainsaw to square up logs and to cut stuff off of logs. So this is one of my chainsaws down here with the sawmill. So, and if you're not portable like myself, then you got to have shovels and rakes and stuff to clean up the sawdust and a tractor. But that's just real quickly some of the tools that they don't tell you that you need when you buy a sawmill. Thanks.